Yarara, 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 yarara. Yarara, 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 yarara. So welcome back, everyone, and welcome to those of you who are joining us online for our Yizkor service, our service of memory. I invite us to turn to page 546, and we'll listen. We'll have Chutzpah Choir will sing for us these verses from Psalm 103. Enosh kechatzir yamav, our days are like grass of the field, like flowers in the meadow. They vanish in a momentary gust of wind, gone, never to be seen again. But God's love is infinite and with us forever. God's goodness reaches far into the future, and this is the gift of the covenant. I want to invite us to read responsively on page 548. At birth, a miracle, you light the spark in every human soul. And every day, every breath comes to us as a miracle. When breath has ceased and life has gone, the neshama returns to you in the spark. Their light is ours, their radiance now burns in us, eternal flame of memory. A light unique and precious, ours to treasure while we live. So this afternoon at our Yizkor service, we are going to invite 7 people to come forward and to light each of the 7 memorial candles that are up in the front and to read sometimes one of those readings. And the first one is on page 549. I want to invite Diane and John Rothberg to come up and to read on page 549.
The death of a loved one is the most profound of all sorrows. The grief that comes with such a loss is intense and multifaceted, affecting our emotions, our bodies, and our lives. Grief is preoccupying and depleting. Emotionally, grief is a mixture of raw feelings such as sorrow, anguish, anger, regret, longing, fear, and deprivation. Grief may be experienced physically as exhaustion, emptiness, tension, sleeplessness, or loss of appetite. Grief invades our daily lives in many sudden gaps and changes, like that empty space at the dinner table, or the sudden loss of affection and companionship, as well as in many new apprehensions, adjustments, and uncertainties. The loss of a loved one throws every aspect of our lives out of balance. The closer we were to the person who died, the more havoc the loss creates. Love does not die quickly. Hence, to grieve is also to celebrate the depth of the union. Tears are then the jewels of remembrance, sad, but glistening with the beauty of the past. So grief in its bitterness marks the end, but also is praise to the one who is gone.
Good job. I'm going to read on page 553, The Death of a Parent by Linda Paston. Move to the front of the line, a voice says, and suddenly there is nobody left standing between you and the world to take the first blows on their shoulders. This is the place in books where part 1 ends and part 2 begins, and there is no part 3. The slate is wiped, not clean, but like a canvas, painted over in white, so that a whole new landscape must be started. Bits of the old still showing underneath. Those colors sadness lends to a certain hour of evening. Now the line of light at the horizon is the hinge between earth and heaven, only visible a few moments as the sun drops its rusted padlock into place. On page 555, our second candle will be lit by Larry Zippin and Gretchen Garrett.
Adonai, how hard to fathom that we are worthy of your care. How astonishing your awareness of us. For we are like the morning mist, our days a passing shadow.
At dawn we flourish anew, by dusk we wither and fade, sending us back to earth's dust. You tell us, return, you who belong to humanity. If only we were wise and understood what lies ahead, for when we die, we carry nothing away. We leave our possessions behind.
So mark the wholehearted, take note of the upright, for there is purpose in a life of integrity. Adonai, you replenish the lives of all who revere you, and those who trust in you will never despair.
You'll sing with me on page 556, Shir Lamalot, Psalm 121. Shir Lamalot, Esaina el Harim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri Me'im Adonai, Ose Shamayim V'Haaretz, Al Yiten Lamot Raglecha, Al Yanum Shomrecha, Hine Lo Yanum V'Lo Ishan, Shomer Yisrael, Adonai Shomrecha, Adonai Tzilcha, Al Yad Yeminecha. Yomam Hashemesh Lo Yakeka, V'yareach Balayla, Adonai Shomrecha, Mikol Ra. Yishmor et nafshecha, Adonai yishmor tzedcha uvoecha, me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam. On 557, the courage my mother had. The courage that my mother had went with her and is with her still. Rock from New England quarried, now granite on a granite hill. The golden brooch my mother wore, she left behind for me to wear. I have no thing I treasure more, yet it is something I could spare. Oh, if instead she'd left me the thing she took into the grave, that courage like a rock, which she has no more need of, and I have. So I invite us to take a few moments just for silent meditation or for reading some of the meditations or thoughts on pages 558 and 559. Ya da 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 da. Da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da da da. On page 561, I'm going to invite up Allison Booth and David Izakowitz to light our third candle.
The echo of your promise. When I cry, my voice trembles with fear. When I call out, it cracks with anger. How can I greet the dawn with song when darkness eclipses the rising sun? To whom shall I turn when the clouds of the present eclipse the rays of tomorrow? Turn me around to yesterday that I may be consoled by its memories. Were not the seas split asunder? Did we not once walk together through the waters to the dry side? Did we not bless the bread that came forth from the heavens? Did your voice not reach my ears and direct my wanderings? The waters, the lightning, the thunder remind me of yesterday's triumphs. Let the past offer proof of tomorrow. Let it be my comforter and guarantor. I have been here before, known the fright, and found your companionship. I enter the sanctuary again to await the echo of your promise.
On the top of page 562. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da da ya da da. Ya da 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 da. Haneshama halach v'haguf pohalach chusa chusa ahalam alach haneshama halach v'haguf pohalach chusa chusa ahalam alach ay da 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 ya da da ya da da ya da da ya da da. On page 563, I'm going to read Grace Paley. I needed to talk to my sister. I needed to talk to my sister, talk to her on the telephone. I mean, just as I used to every morning, in the evening too, whenever the grandchildren said a sentence that clasped both our hearts, I called. Her phone rang 4 times. You can imagine my breath stopped. Then there was a terrible telephonic noise. A voice said, "This number is no longer in use." How wonderful, I thought. I can call again, and they have not yet assigned her number to another person, despite 2 years of absence due to death. On page 267, I want to invite up Ellen Teplitsky to read There Are Stars Up Above. 567, I'm sorry.
stars are up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember.
So on the next few pages, 567, 68, 69, 70, these are private prayers of Yizkor, of memory. We just take a few moments now for each of us to silently peruse these pages. Da da da, da da da, da da da, da da da, ya da da, ya da da, ya da da, da da da, ya da da, ya da da, ya da da, da da da, ya da da, ya da da. Ya da da, ya da da. On page 579, our fifth candle, I want to invite Kathleen Ford and Richard Bonney.
Adonai, through all generations, we have found our home in you. Before the mountains rose up, before the birth pangs of the earth, you alone have been with us, steadfast and constant for all time. In the end, you return us to dust, saying, "Come home now, daughters and sons of Adam and Eve, you are mortal. In your sight, 1,000 years pass in an instant, like a fleeting watch in the night. But how brief the span of our lives. Our years flow by in a dream. We sleep away our days. In the morning, we blossom in beauty. In the evening, we wither away, burnt like grass in the blasting heat of summer. We perish like chaff in the wind."
A human life may be 80 years and 10, or 80 years for those who are blessed with strength. So many days consumed by toil and troubles, then our time is cut short, and too soon we go into the dark. So teach us to number our days, that we may bring home a heart of wisdom. Give us a sense of your presence. Nourish us with your compassion. Knowing your love at the dawn of our life, let us live our days in contentment. May our moments of joy surpass the time of struggle. May we taste the sweetness of each precious day. May the work of our hands bring fulfillment.
On page 583, I'll just invite us to sing together this last verse from Adon Olam. Biado afkid ruchi, I place my soul into God's hand. Be'et ishan ve'ayira, when I sleep and also when I rise. Ve'im ruchi geviati, and my body too will rest in you. Adonai li lo ira. Be'yado afkid ruchi, be'et ishan ve'ayira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira. Be'yado afkid ruchi, be'et ishan ve'ayira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira. On page 585, Gratitude for the Next Generation, I invite Jocelyn and Dan Lefkowitz.
Gratitude for the next generation. If some messenger were to come with us with the offer that death should be overthrown, but with the one inseparable condition that birth should also cease, if the existing generation were given the chance to live forever, but on the clear understanding that never again would there be a child or a youth or first love, never again new persons with new hopes, new ideas, new achievements, ourselves for always, and never any others, could the answer be in doubt?
When we fear death's decree, let these bring us solace. the memory of loved ones who have gone before us, a vision of generations to come, through whom we reach far into the future, beyond our own lives.
I want to invite us to read together on page 590 at the top of the page, a teaching based on the Talmud Baba Batra. There are 10 strong things. Iron is strong, but fire melts it. Fire is strong, but water quenches it. Water is strong, but the clouds evaporate it. Clouds are strong, but wind drives them away. Wind is strong, but the human body bears it. Human beings are strong, but fear casts them down. Fear is strong, but wine allays it. Wine is strong, but sleep overcomes it. But death is strong, survives death. On page 592, we'll just light the seventh candle. Linda Lester will light for us. And then we'll sing together the 23rd Psalm in the Hebrew on page 593.
One morning, shortly after my mother died, a hesitant tap on the shoulder stopped me as I left the synagogue where I had just finished saying the mourner's Kaddish. I turned to face a fellow morning service regular, a tall, gray-haired gentleman with a football player's thick build. "I don't mean to be presumptuous," he said in a soft voice. "I know you're very sad right now, but I wanted to tell you that I went through that too when my father died several years ago. And here's the thing. Believe it or not, I am as close to my father now as when he was alive, maybe even closer, because I have come to understand him better. He is inside me. I hear his voice. We are still that close." Then he smiled and waved goodbye, leaving me to ponder words that I began to understand only years later. What he meant, I think, was that our dead inhabit us like ghosts. The trick, as he knew then, and I have learned since, is to befriend them rather than to have them haunt us. They will greet us on sad anniversaries as well as in joy. We will imagine a deceased parent's response to her grandchild's arrival, or we will call back from memory the words or actions of the one person to whom we would have turned were he or she still there. And eventually, when we hear that voice again, it will bring not just pain, but comfort and resolution.
On page 593. Mizmor leDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar, b'nei oteshet yarbitzeni, al mei menuchot yenachaleni. Nafshi yeshoveh, nafshi yeshoveh, yancheni b'magle tzedek leman shemo. Gam ki elech b'geit tzalmavet, lo ira ra, ki ata imadi, shiftecha, umishantecha, shiftecha, umishantecha, hema yenachamuni, taroch, taroch, taroch lefanai shulchan, taroch lefanai shulchan, neged zorerai, dishanta, dishanta, dishanta beshemen roshi, dishanta beshemen roshi, kosi revaya, achto v'chesed, yirdefuni, kol yemei chayai, ושבתי בבית אדוני, ושבתי בבית אדוני, לאורך ימים. And we'll read together in the English on page 594. A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So at this moment, we want to allow a few moments of just private meditation. If you got a Yizkor book and you wish to look through some of those, our loved ones and the ones who we have memorialized there, or just take a few minutes to be with the presence and the memory of your own loved ones and bring them into your consciousness and bring a picture into your head and mind and heart. And then we'll rise for the memorial prayers. So El Malei Rachamim, the memorial prayer, is on page 598. Before we rise, I just want to read the names of those in our congregation who passed away between Rosh Hashanah last year and this year. And if there's a name that I've left out, or if you have a name that you wish to mention, you may do so. Barbara Ward, Florence Kornblatt, Lisa Politz Green, Larry Foster, Roberta Kahn, Harriet Noble, Michael Ryan, Eugene Shatkin, Sherry Lowe, Erwin Cubby Cohen, Mary Ornstein, Marcella Lieberman, Lynn Carter, Roxanne Sokolow, Jeffrey Hazan, Anita Landy, Joe Lieberman, Karen Ann Farber, Ivan Mueller, Trayton John Zamrikut, Peter Volk, Grace Zisk, Richard Levine, Alfred Rim, David Edward Milov, Quentin Jonathan Adams, Michael Alexander. So we rise for the memorial prayer on page 598. El male rachamim, shochen bamromim, המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מהסירים, לנשמות יקירינו שהלכו לעולמם. בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתם, אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר Amen. And the Mourner's Kaddish is on page 606. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, B'alma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam leolmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alma v'imru. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. So we'll close our service with the singing of Eli, Eli. If you want the words, they're on page 540. And thank you to the Chutzpah Choir for taking us in and taking us out of this hour of memory. Thank you to the Chutzpah Choir. Thank you to George, who doubles as conductor and chazan. Our service of memory is ended. We will reconvene in about 10 minutes in the other room for a little bit of study, conversation, and then our mincha service begins at 5:45 back here, followed by Ne'ilah. And if you're going home and coming back, I just want to remind you that at the end of Ne'ilah, we do have our annual shofar choir. So anyone who can blow a shofar, or even if you can't blow the shofar, but you can make a noise out of it, is invited to bring it for the end of Ne'ilah. I wish everybody at Tzom Kal an easy fast for the rest of the day. Good Yom Tov.